Hello, friends. I'm having a bit of a moment. I'm having a bit of an eclipse moment. I was supposed to come in here today and get a bunch of work done. Woke up this morning and was seeing some images, and I was thinking, wow, this really is about the eclipse energy that's happening right now. Okay, not my best angle, but it works great. Here we are in an eclipse sandwich. And I mean, I thought I was doing really well. I thought I was going to get through this whole transitional energy just fine because of all the work I've done. Yeah, so I was seeing these images of like square, like walls, basically, kind of like these walls, but then almost like electrical energy between the walls. I was thinking about how the eclipse often it's like this sort of intensity of the energy that comes through, and you can work with this energy. It can be really helpful to work with this energy, actually, if you're inclined. But if you kind of, the universe is going to bring to you what you need to work on, regardless of like how strong your will is or what your spiritual practice is or is not. There are going to be things that are going to occur that are just going to kind of like drift in and then maybe leave if you pay attention to them or not. Even though I had like directives for how I was going to be spending my time, I was shown differently. And so it is my intention to bring through what is meant to be brought through today. I hope you will stick around and see what evolves. It's pretty fun. It's interesting doing this work. I feel compelled to do it from a spiritual level, but also a dharmic path sort of level. And so it's interesting working as a therapist and understanding the mind really well and helping others understand their thought forms really well and what problems they can run into. But what came through, it's really, I have to just kind of just describe and go. But if you've ever been bullied and if you've ever felt small because of other people's fear, then I am sorry. And hopefully I will be able to bring through some codes today that can help you heal. Because what I was shown was a way to explain things so that I can continue to heal, and bringing the codes forth, it can help others to heal. And so this has wonderful effects. It's sort of like domino effect of I'm bringing in the codes, I'm helping with what just occurred in my life to help kind of open up my heart more and allow more of the healing to sort of come in and through and work on dismantling what has been this sort of matrix. And I don't like to use that word. It's about dismantling this paradigms that have been entrenched into your subconscious mind and the way you view yourself. Ego is very important. Ego is the architecture. Ego is the underlying form. So ego is box. Ego is the box. So I think I'm going to put on some gloves and then potentially hit it. The universe brings experiences through for us so that we can continue to heal. We meet different people so that we can see within them ourselves, and we're reflected back. So there's this mirroring effect that happens. And I feel like right now with this eclipse energy, that mirroring effect is on blast. And so like I'm seeing it in these like basically mirrors that are, you've ever been in like an escalator where there's mirrors on either side, you can see forever. It's infinity. So yeah, so working with so I'm kind of like seeing in that way, and then trying to bring that forth as actual singular form on this page. So it's a little bit of a challenge right now because I can see it, but I just have to bring it through. And then I also I find the story behind this rather fascinating. It's very telling of the human experience, and I love Jungian psychology, and so it's very much along the lines of this sort of the subconscious drives and the way we view ourselves, and how that's changing, whether we like it or not. It is changing, and some people can feel it and are aware of it, and then there are people, who are just kind of getting by in life and being driven by fear. It's my intention to bring through all the information that's meant to come through, working in a realm beyond fear, harnessing whatever. So this is a box. This is going to turn into a box. This is not how I pictured it in my mind, but we're just gonna go. We're going. So waking up and seeing some forms that are basically walls. Wow, that's a really intense, beautiful color there, Tam. Wow. So the box being symbolic of the ego. You need the ego. So I saw this story. A friend posted, a friend that I have known for many, many long time. The story was about being bullied at a very tender age, teenage years, for a long period of time, by a person who was in authority, who should have known better in that capacity, as the adult, as the teacher, as it were. So I guess right now I'm painting memory. Being told, don't worry what it looks like now. Even though it doesn't look anything like I was seeing this morning at all. So this person kind of posted about their experience, and I knew them during the time when they were experiencing this situation. My current self, person that was observing the video, later was feeling really guilty. Like, oh my God, I was complicit. This thing was happening. I didn't do anything about it. Why didn't you do anything about it? How, but then it's like, well, not my job. Now I would view it as my job. I don't allow that in my life. It had a very strong effect on me, the story. Because I felt really bad that I wasn't there for that person, that I didn't see it, I didn't know about it, I couldn't help in any way. It's just a special kind of helplessness you feel as an observer. I shouldn't say special, just a particular. Okay, just as an aside, it's like a TV. I just sort of had this conversation as an aside with my guides. Like, okay, is this where I put in the codes? And they literally responded, it's not always about the codes. It's not always about the codes, damn. It's not always about the codes. So there was this kind of like electricity that I was seeing. Yeah, maybe a smaller sketch. Help me work this out a little bit. So like within, like, this is like your mind, the paradigm of your mind. And then there's like the forms represent your structured sense of self, your structured sense of identity, your structured sense of your ego, all of that. This could be sort of seen in almost like a grid, right? It's a very Yan-based type of way of thinking, very like psychology and all that stuff. So like here you have this, like, this is who you are. And then so this is like, your structured ideas about, like, let's say like the timeline of your life or your job or the things that you need to do. And then there's like this push. There's like this energetic push, like, so So what was coming in earlier today was this sort of like I can feel that my life is changing. I can feel that I'm like trying to push out of this box. So I'm trying to push out the outside of the format of who I am. But the way to do that is not the old way. It's not the forceful way of just like, breaking down the walls, right? This thing is in place, right? Your ego structure, let's say, is in place. But what I found across a lifespan, or my lifespan, changing a lot, having to make some changes that like include, let's say, like a lot of personal changes that have to do with addiction issues way back when. What I found is karmically or throughout our life, the time actually doesn't exist. So we're working in almost like a spiral, right? And the spiral, so what I have found is that like karma always brings back to you what needs to be worked out, what you need to work through. Karma will always. So for me personally, a big part of like my trajectory or path has been, set out down here, and I'm going and I'm going, and then karma brings back something, brings back something, brings back something, brings back something. And 9 times out of 10, there's been a theme. The theme has consistently been teaching me to step more into my authenticity, teaching me to be more in tune with what my voice sounds like, teaching me how to step more into my power. But my idea of power from childhood until, I don't know how long ago, has consistently been a very male way of looking at what power is. So when I was seeing these structures, I was seeing this sort of like movement against that wall, that sort of box, that cage, if you will, and really feeling into some of the energies and some of the things that were coming up for me earlier today helped me understand better this sort of spiraling that happens throughout our life. And also that the way to break through or out of this cage or prison, however you want to look at it, is through feeling into it, through empathy. Because what I realized when I was listening to this person speak was that his story was not too far off from my story. It was different. It was different. There was a sharpness to it. There was a violence to it. There's a cruelty to it that it was like I understood. And at the same time, it wasn't till days later after like pretty much sobbing about it every day, not quite understanding why I was feeling so about it. It wasn't until today that I realized that the reason why I was feeling so about it was because he was my mirror. So I got to witness his pain again through the story. And in doing that, I could see, well, first of all, forgiveness, right? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Like, I felt like this energy of like, oh my God, I was complicit. I didn't do anything. But literally, what are you going to do when you're also a student? But, I participated in a way because when we're thrown into situations where people are projecting their fear onto you, you kind of become that. And then you have to work through that. So, like, you become the projection because that's how you have to navigate. getting through situations so that you're not in danger. So then you become that. And then when you become that, other people see you as that. And when other people see you as that, they don't even realize that they're contributing to a projection that's a false projection. I don't even know if any of this makes sense. I was instructed by my guides to bring through, these are thought forms apparently, bring through art, work through it with art, post something so that people who are neurodivergent or people who are aware of these energies or people who have had to deal with similar versions of the same sort of bullying stories and perhaps come across the work. Morete si kaya mama bopare taka ito shamanigi daka borato shamanigi da yandaka borito shamanigi atagi yamaka dia to shamanigi ataka ajamini da dia sanayataka. So seeing time as a spiral and also understanding that like healing doesn't always occur in a linear way, and healing, sometimes it has to not be about butterflies and rainbows. Sometimes healing is painful, but at the end of the day, the healing occurs when we can open up our hearts to ourselves and be in forgiveness of certain patterns that we don't realize that we're a part of, that we co-sign. I think it's extremely ubiquitous. I think that there's very few people in my life, in my world, as being somebody world, not just an artist or a therapist, but it's familiar. So I was thinking about how bullying can influence and shape your sense of self. This is kind of a cool, it's burnt umber. I like bronze because it's got a little shiny stuff to it. So what can happen with your subconscious mind is that even when, like, let's say you went to see a therapist and you did the work and you practiced everything and you did what they suggested you do. Not that this is going to deter you from seeing a therapist, because, hello. But the real juice is when you can recognize this is not me, this is my subconscious patterning coming up, telling me XYZ that simply isn't true. I'll think of an example. This is that bronze. It's like, is it red? Is it bronze? Is it iron? This feels very much like a watercolor. Okay, so that subconscious, to get back a little bit to the subconscious conditioning. So the subconscious conditioning becomes a way you start to view yourself, and then patterns come back up to force you to view yourself differently. So I happened to see this post by this person, and I happened to feel really bad about what they had gone through. And I started to feel like, I was almost partially responsible, or there was some sort of something about it that I needed to participate in. What I needed to participate in was assistance with the healing, because I needed the healing to happen within myself also, because I had been bullied, not by a teacher. It rarely comes in formatted the way you expect. The universe, God, however you want to frame it, always has your back, always wants you to learn, always wants the takeaway to be for your highest and best good. I guess this is turning into sort of like a kaleidoscopic eye form, flower, fire. So I didn't realize when I was, feeling really bad about what I was witnessing or what I had witnessed, and then feeling really bad about, like, because I knew this person, and I could, at the time, like I couldn't see this sort of like the innocence, right? That like child that got beaten up by a bully, basically psychologically beaten up by somebody who should have known better, who had no right to treat a child the way they did. But anyway, seeing your own part is important. Yeah, thank you, program. I mean, it's like you have to torch everything you used to know, right? But then like the light, it's really fun the way the firestorm just came through in this. It's really great. Really, really great.